What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this I wanted to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the economic calendar moving forward and what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I break the devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks, and the offer ends in just 5 days from now. Anyways, for the market, what on earth is going on? Honestly, guys, the market is very choppy, very sideways. There's not much data coming out for the rest of today, also going into Monday. However, I do want to call out one thing that's important. That's the fact that the market is fighting some tough resistance levels. And that does suggest that the market is kind of like struggling to really continue to break out, at least to some extent. So I'm going to break down more details about that in just a minute. Just as a reminder, when it comes to data, for today, we got the Michigan consumer sentiment data. Everything was showing some weakness in terms of sentiment, in terms of inflationary expectations and such. But moving forward, I just want to say that for Monday, I don't really see a whole lot coming out. I know some people asked about that. There's not really much coming out, just some bill auctions, nothing too crazy, just a few Fed speakers. But moving forward, when it comes to the markets, here's what's going on. We're going to start off with SPY and start breaking down Tesla and the others. If we look at SPY, guys, it's very sideways. Look at how it's been moving for the last couple of days. We're actually on a slight downtrend right here. This could be actually forming a flag. So I could take, excuse me, a couple of trend lines, kind of draw them out very, very nicely. So if I take an extended line like this, we could draw out this little resistance area just like this. This is like the level that SPY has been testing as our resistance. Then we also have support all the way over here. We can actually draw another line just like this. You guys can see this is kind of like the channel that SPY has been in for quite some time. So we're going to likely continue to respect these levels for an extended period of time. And I just want to make it very clear that right now, SPY is just very, very range bound. We have resistance currently around the 542s. And we have support currently at 540, but I would still call out 540 as a key level. If we do hold below this, there's still going to be a risk of us eventually dropping all the way down to about 437 to finish filling this gap. SPY is not officially breaking down or anything like that. We're just slowly on a slight downtrend. We're slowly just making our way down. But overall, it's very sideways. We're still kind of range bound for the most part. We've been stuck between 540 and 544 for the last 3 days. So we're just going to wait and see what SPY does from here. But one thing that's worth noting is that resistance is getting tougher, at least for SPY and the QQQ and other tickers like Nvidia. And that is a big red flag, at least for the markets, when it comes to the way that the market's been rallying. So we'll have to see how things end up continuing from here. We're at some tough resistance, and we have to give the market some time. For the rest of the day, I think SPY will just continue to chop around, become range bound. We could dip a little bit to retest the 540.5 zone. It is possibly dip just a little bit, then just get bought back up and continue to trade sideways for the most part. So I think that's the most likely possibility. We just trade sideways, not really do anything else too significant. For Nvidia has resistance currently around 132.6, and we have support currently at 131.5. As you guys could see, all day it's been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, sideways price action. We're going to likely continue to do so. If we lose 128, I'll turn more bearish. I think the gap fill could come to 125. We're not really doing that though. We're just continuing to just trade sideways, so we'll just have to give it some time. Now, for Bitcoin, just real quick, Bitcoin's looking a little bit more bearish. We're testing 65,000. We need to bounce off here, or else there's a risk of it coming all the way down to 63,000. So it needs to bounce right here. If it does bounce, we'll be looking at resistance around 66,200, which is where we had previous resistance. Overall, there's a double top leg structure in Bitcoin, and we are kind of downtrending. So we'll just have to give this more time. On top of other things I just want to call out, let's just double check this. Tesla's looking kind of weak as well. Unfortunately, although Tesla had an accumulation structure, the move ended up failing. We failed to hold above 186. I told you all that if we lost 182, I would turn more bearish. We ended up losing it, so now we're at support. We're just trading sideways between 180 and around the 200 EMA, which is currently at 177.5. So watch 177.5 as key support. Watch resistance around 180, and we're just trading sideways for now. We'll just have to see how things kind of develop from here, but otherwise we're just stuck. So we'll just have to give it some time. With this happening, I just want to make it very clear that Tesla is just range bound. Give it some time, be very, very patient, and just know there's a little bit of weakness on the chart. So we'll have to see how this develops going into next week, if we could hold this 200 EMA or not. But whichever way we break will determine the bigger move. If we break the 50 EMA, we could start pushing back up. If we break the 200 EMA, we'll start dipping. We'll just give it some time. For The QQQ, we also have some tough resistance currently closer to about the 478 zone. But look at how range bound this was. Look how well it's just going back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. You guys can see that quite clearly. Our resistance is currently around this 478 to 479 area, and we have support currently around 477. That's our critical. Excuse me. That's our critical support. So we're just kind of stuck right now, going back and forth and back and forth. There's a little bit of strength here. It is trying to kind of push a little higher, so it is possibly try to break higher. But like I said before, resistance is still tough, and I don't really see it breaking out like crazy. It might just try to kind of shuffle in these high areas, but there is still a risk of it kind of rejecting. So I think there might be a little bit more upside for the QQQ, but resistance is getting tougher, so we might see more continued sideways price action. For Apple, Apple is just completely sideways. We have 212.5 as support, 210 below that. We're just kind of shuffling right now. We have resistance around 215. I think we're just going to continue to trade sideways within this range. So there's not really a whole lot going on with this. Supermicro is looking more bearish. We are in a bit of a downtrend. On top of this, we have resistance to be watching for at 843. If we lose 832, we'll be dipping all the way down to 823. I think we're going to continue to trade sideways, maybe dip a little bit. So I'll be watching for that. For the IWM Russell 2000, we have 198 as support, then we have 200 as resistance. We're kind of downtrending as well. I'm seeing some weakness right now in the IWM, but I think we're going to likely chop around 198. For Coinbase, we're looking more bearish right now, continuing to downtrend. We have to try to hold above 240. If we fail to do so, we're going to likely continue to fall to 236, and then eventually 234. So we're looking a little bit more bearish. Amazon, it's trying to rebound a bit, but we're very, very sideways. We have resistance at 183.6, and we're just range bound. We've been shuffling between 183 and about 182 for this entire time, so we'll just have to give this some time. Meta is also trading kind of sideways. We've been stuck between 500 and 505 the entire time. I'm seeing some life and might try to push a little hard to 505 again, but we're still trading sideways. GameStop needs to hold above 30 to turn bullish. We haven't been able to do so, so we're still kind of stuck in this range. And the same thing can be said about AMC. We're also trading sideways as well. We need to break past 5.5 to turn bullish. Otherwise, we're just trading sideways in the between 4.9 and about 5.1. We've been stuck within that range for quite some time. So give the market some time, guys. It's very boring. It is a Friday. No surprises are here, but that's just the way things are looking. We'll be watching to see how the market develops from here. So we're just still range bound. So give the market the time it needs, and I'll see you guys very, very soon on the next one. Thank you all so much for listening. Have an absolutely incredible rest of the day. Just as a reminder, I'm not going to be back until a couple of hours after the market closes. So until close, the market is just continuing to do its thing. It's continuing to shuffle. So that's not necessarily like unusual for a Friday. That's just the way it is. So that being said, I just want to say I appreciate you guys so much for listening one more time. Please like the video if you really enjoyed these updates. I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you and peace out.